What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out the first revealed cards from the upcoming Agent Structure deck. We knew that this was coming, but I was definitely not prepared for some of the madness Konami has cooked up here. Not only do we have a Master Hyperion Synchro, but also, Dark Agents? What is up with that? Now, when it comes to my personal expectations for this structure deck, I think they're pretty, I'm going to say they're like somewhere in the middle. I'm trying not to get too high and not too low because Konami's recent track record with structure decks, in my opinion, has not been super solid. Ice Barrier structure deck, also, Cyber Style, Charmer, they have not been very strong in the TCG, but we know not that long ago, Konami hit a home run with the, Shadow Structure deck, and we've had ones in the past like Monarchs, Dinosaurs that have been absolutely amazing. So hopefully Konami can get this one right, and let's go ahead and start off with the new boss monster, which is a Master Hyperion Synchro. Actually, this one shouldn't have been that much of a shock to me because agents have always had tuner monsters, but they've never had synchros, so I think Konami's kind of addressing that. Like, we got all these tuners, but we don't have synchro monsters, so let's just give agents a synchro. This is Master Flare Hyperion, Light Fairy Monster, synchro, level 10, 3200 attack, 2600 defense. Now, your materials are a tuner plus one non-tuner fairy monster, so basically this is not a card that's going to be splashable. Well, the effects kind of make it so, but you're probably going to go 8 to the summon this card. You're probably going to use one of the Hyperion cards since those are 8s, and then you're going to use maybe like a Earth or something like that for your level 2 tuner. Your first effect says you can send one the agent monster. Keep in mind it says the agent, so no spiral cards. Or one card that specifically lists the Sanctuary in the Sky, so like Hyperion, in its text from your hand, deck, or extra deck to the graveyard until the end phase. This card's name becomes the sent monster's original name. Replace this effect with that original monster's effects. Second effect, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can banish one fairy monster from your hand or graveyard, target one card on the field, banish it. So at first I was kind of lukewarm on this card. I was like, yeah, I can't really banish a card unless my opponent does something, but I guess if they don't do anything, I can just beat them down with this card. I think that this card is basically just one giant Swiss Army knife or tutor for the entire agent's archetype, and that made me think, okay, this card has some versatility to it, because if you really think about this, like if you need some spot removal, you can dump a Master Hyperion to the graveyard and then just copy the Hyperion's effect and blow something up on your opponent's side of the field. If you need to summon a bunch of monsters, you can drop maybe a Venus from your deck to the graveyard, then start, spitting out those shine balls for link plays or whatever you want to do with that. Maybe some Xyz summons into Zeus or whatever. So I think that this card does have some pretty good utility. Obviously, if your opponent tries to respond in pretty much any way that's not like a counter track, you're most likely going to be able to banish something on their field. So it's kind of nice, like even if your opponent tries to like negate this card, you can activate the effect and chain to their negates. Like if they were to have like Savage, they tried to negate it, you could chain to their negate and banish the Savage Dragon, or you could banish another card. Like that'd be definitely pretty cool. So I think that this card is pretty decent. Doesn't seem like it's going to be the absolute easiest thing to summon. Like if you're going first, this could be maybe a difficult card to summon turn 1, depending on if you can get to that level 2 tuner, but it's an okay boss monster. It's not like insane like, ABC Dragon Buster or Dark Claw, but it's fair enough. Yeah, we've seen better boss monsters come out of structure decks like Conductor Tyranno, but definitely not the worst. Next up, we have another version of Master Hyperion. This one is it's Dark Attribute, and honestly, I can't figure out why. This is Majesty Hyperion, Dark Fairy Monster, level 8, 2100 attack, 2700 defense. Again, if you can explain to me why this card is Dark Attribute, I'll give you a cookie. I have no idea why this card is not Light Attribute, but hey, at least we can run trade-in the deck because we got multiple level 8 monsters for agents. You can only special summon it with the first effect is a hard once per turn. That effect says you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing one the agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. Second effect says your opponent takes any damage that you would have taken from battles involving fairy monsters instead. So it's kind of like a reverse Sanctuary of the Sky. I think Sanctuary of the Sky makes it so you don't take any damage, so it's like a little bit of a reverse there. Third effect says once per turn you can banish a fairy monster from your hand or field, target one card in either graveyard, banish it. If Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can activate this effect up to twice per turn. So this is like a really good fodder card because this card can summon itself from the graveyard and it can do so quite easily. I mean, this is not even bad with something like, you know, Trade-in, which I talked about before, because I mean, all you have to do is just banish an agent monster from the graveyard and this card just instantly summons itself. And it's got pretty decent stats. Like, I'm talking about offensively, 2100 is not terrible. 2700 defense is obviously pretty legitimate. I think the main play with this card is to use it as that level 8 for Synchro summoning. I think that's probably the best play. Now, it can be a little bit of a DD Crow, banishing something from your opponent's graveyard. However, it isn't a quick effect. If it would have been a quick effect, that would have been very, very good for this card. But unfortunately, it only works during your turn. So the disruption of this card, not exactly great, but it does summon itself from the graveyard. So that's pretty cool. Our final card is a new planet, and this is going to be the Agent of Life, Neptune. There's an Agent Pluto, right? Pluto's not a planet, but when I was a kid, it used to be a planet. Anyways, this is a level 1 light fairy monster, so we're back to light. 0 attack and 600 defense. Your first and second effects of this card are hard once per turn. First effect, discard. You can discard this card. That's a cost. Special summon 1, the agent monster from your hand or graveyard, except another copy of Neptune, but it cannot be tributed until the end of the opponent's turn. If Sanctuary of the Sky is on the field or in the graveyard, you can special summon a Hyperion monster instead. Second effect, if this card becomes banished, you can add 1 Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. So obviously, like, this card's just gonna get banished. Like, if you're not banishing it from the original Master Hyperion, you're probably gonna banish it from the new Majesty Hyperion, also the new the Synchro Hyperion banishes. So basically all the Hyperion cards banished. So you're going to get this card banished. It instantly is going to be able to get you a Sanctuary in the Sky. So that's at least nice. It just pays for itself. And then it has a Monster Reborn effect for basically the entire agent archetype. If Sanctuary of the Sky is in the grave or on the field, then you can just reborn one of your Hyperions, which with the Synchro monster definitely could be pretty nice. I do kind of question this deck's still kind of revolving around Sanctuary in the Sky. And I think the main, like, one of the main factors as to like how competitive this is going to be, in my opinion, because these cards seem okay-ish. They don't seem like these, if I'm being honest, these cards don't blow me away. However, they don't feel terrible. It doesn't feel like Charmers. When those cards were revealed, I was like, oh god, this is just going to be a train wreck. Or same thing with Ice Barriers. But I think if Konami has a new form of Sanctuary in the Sky, maybe something that counts as Sanctuary in the Sky when it's on the field or in the graveyard, maybe this deck can do some rocking and rolling. Now, Sanctuary in the Sky is confirmed to be in here, so, you know, hopefully they don't just want us to play with a card that I believe off the top of my head came out in Ancient Sanctuary, which is like a 2004, I believe, booster set. So that card wasn't even good in 2004, like during the DM era. So I really hope Konami doesn't want us to keep playing that. But if they give us a new form of Sanctuary in the Sky, this deck could probably do, it can maybe make some noise. But as of right now, I got to see what else is coming down because, of course, there are going to be probably 10 to 11 cards, and we only know about 3 of them. So there's going to be another big batch of cards, and we have to see what those are going to do. But for right now, I'm going to say that they're okay. Anyways, whatever you guys think, you leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching, as always.